few years ago, I made an analysis on Martin Li, Mr. Negative, and gave him the villain score 6 out of 10, but with his addition in Spider-Man 2, is that score going up? If so, how much? Mr. Negative update review, let's run it.
You are just gonna let me die. You don't know what you took from me.
So when we catch up with Negative in this game, he's being freed by Kraven's goons who want to use their get out of jail card so Papa Kraven can do his thing and hunt this sucker down. He's been in prison and largely is the same exact person we knew him to be in 2018. He's in this really intense scene, right? Will Miles save him? Will he kill him? Will he stop this boat from sinking? It is intense, kicking this game into high gear and giving you just a little glimpse of what's to come. And then Martin Li dips for most of the game. The next time we see him, he's thrown into this pit with Miles where the two are forced to fight each other to the death. And it's here that Li starts a pretty incredible arc that, in my opinion, makes this character a lot more interesting. It's funny because in my review of Li from the first game, one of my main complaints was how Mr. Negative and Martin Li almost feel like two different characters. Martin Li is a nice guy who works at a shelter and has dedicated his life to helping the community. Mr. Negative, he kills everyone and their mom because they might inconvenience him. Why does he care so much about helping others one moment and killing them the next? We don't know. Luckily for Mr. Li, Spider-Man 2 uses him in a genius way that helps develop both him and the character he impacted the most, Miles.
Why did you do it? What did you want?
Revenge. Norman Osborn's the reason my parents are dead, so I dedicated my life to making his hell.
When we start this game, Miles has a lot of rage built up against Li, and justifiably so, seeing as the events Li caused in the first game ended up getting his dad killed. For most of the game too, it's something Miles really struggles with. Something very on brand for this game's themes of fighting inner demons and overcoming the negative thoughts that brew in our heads rather than leaning into them. Miles was always going back and forth, right? No, I'm not gonna kill Li. That's just a joke. I mean, maybe, but probably not. But actually, yeah, I'm gonna kill him. The game doesn't do much with Li, but what it does is very important. He's not really a big player until the end, but it's a hell of an entrance he makes when Kraven forces him and Miles to fight each other to the death in this gladiator arena.
There's no escape.
I tried.
And for a bit, it seems like Miles still has that anger in him. That anger that, you know, Martin, you might not see the rest of the day. Eventually, though, he overcomes it in an amazing sequence and puts the revenge and hatred aside to save Li and keep himself locked up with Kraven. It's this act which I think does a lot for Li as a character. Someone who realizes exactly what Miles saving him means, especially after all the pain he caused him.
You should be proud of him. It reminds me of you.
The parallel of Martin and Miles is honestly fantastic, and I loved this level in the game between them where Li goes with Miles into Peter's head to try and save him from this lingering symbiote. Here we learn a lot more about Li, and we just get a better insight into his brain. Him and Miles both lost their parents to these horrible circumstances and selfishness of others. But by Miles getting past it and being able to live with Li, Martin is able to also do that. This scene really starts to bridge that gap between Mr. Negative and Martin Li. It's as cohesive a character he's ever felt.
But I can't carry this hate for you anymore, man. So let's set things right.
It feels both like the villain who terrorized the city as well as the man who helped people at Feast with May. And in the end, Martin gives up his power to save Peter and give him the anti-venom suit. It's amazing to me that this game is able to pull this off so well and fix really my biggest problems with this character. He still has his faults, yes, but with an awesome parallel to Miles and a few more really cool scenes, the redemption of Martin Li is an underrated but very appreciated thing in this game. So from there, I will be bumping up his villain score from a 6 to a 7.5. Thank you so much for watching. I have a new analysis of both Kraven and Venom coming up very soon. You're not going to want to miss them. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. I'll catch you later.